So, how long should it take to start academics? It's really not that long. And academics really should start shortly after the routines are put in place in a classroom. Now, I had heard from many former students about their first days and first few weeks of school. And I'm talking about students who went on to middle school and high school, but I even heard about it from students before they entered my classroom when they were in the younger grades of elementary, and they would do icebreakers, getting to know each other, what'd you do over the summer break, and review material. Now that's expected. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all perfectly legitimate. But I'm talking about when teachers let this go on for weeks. Weeks, meaning weeks later, they're still doing a certain level of review that they were doing at the first week or first few days of school. They haven't really moved on as well. And there's numerous excuses for this. They're saying that the materials haven't arrived yet. I can't believe how many times I've heard that before. Or they're going to spend the first month or two reviewing for the year. But while routines do come first in a classroom, academics really should start shortly after. And what I mean by academics is I mean the new academic material that they're supposed to cover for that specific grade in that school year. Because the truth is that there's really, from a teacher's perspective, at least this is how I felt, there is never enough time in a school year. And there is a lot of material to cover. And even if you were a perfect teacher with the perfect classroom management and perfect time management, it's nearly impossible to really cover everything with a classroom. There's always going to be some compromises here or there. And so for a teacher who is saying, I'm going to spend the first month or two just purely doing review, it kind of shows a lack of awareness and respect for the material that has to be covered for that year. And there's already so limited time anyway. But likewise, a teacher who starts teaching the routines at the beginning of the year and very shortly after they start with the academics, they have a very good sense of timing and they have respect for the amount of time and material that they have to teach that year. So, in those first 3 weeks, be aware of how quickly the academics start in your child's classroom. Look, review, perfectly fine. That's legitimate. Routines has to be done. I hope I've explained that already. But not starting within those first few weeks on some new material or at least a whole unit, that's a red flag to look out for. It shows how they'll treat the remainder of the year.